Welcome to AI Rounds, your weekly dose of AI in medicine and education.
We are your hosts, Dr. Nuria Negrão
and Dr. Morgan Leaf. Each week, we'll bring you a quick dive into the latest in artificial intelligence and how it's transforming healthcare, medical education, and medical communications.
From the tools changing how we teach, learn, and write, to breakthroughs shaping patient care. If it's new, exciting, or just plain useful, we're talking about it.
In just 10 to 15 minutes, we'll get you up to speed and maybe even spark your next big idea.
Let's make the rounds. Hi, Morgan. How are you?
Hey, Nuria. How are you? I'm good.
Doing great. And today we're going to talk about the ACCME guidance document for using AI in continuing education for healthcare professionals. And I can't wait to get into it. I think there's been a lot of chatter about this guiding document. So I'm going to share my screen because I have a nice little chart that I used yesterday in a presentation that I gave for the Alliance. And I'm going to throw it to you. Do you want to walk us through the 7 points that the ACCME highlighted for us to take it into consideration?
Absolutely. And before I do that, I want to reemphasize what you just said. So for folks in the CME space, if you did not catch this webinar through the Alliance that was on Monday, January 26th, I highly recommend that you catch the recording. It was super informative. Nuria did a great job, and it went through in great detail this guidance document that we're about to go through in 10 or 15 minutes. So I highly recommend looking for that recording if you did not catch it the first time. So keep in mind as we go through this, right? This is a guidance document right now. These aren't requirements. You don't absolutely have to do all of these things. They aren't requiring you to sign off on doing them. But these are suggestions from the ACCME and good ones about ways to incorporate and safely use AI when creating content for continuing medical education. So the first one is safeguard independence and mitigate bias. So tell us what they mean by this, Nuria.
Ooh. Okay. So what they mean by safeguard independence and mitigate bias is that you need to make sure that the content that is created with AI is independent from commercial influence. And you need to make sure that as much as you can, you are implementing protocols that will mitigate bias. And the reason for that is that these general AI models are trained, as we know, on the whole of the internet and all human written language. And because bias is a natural thing that we have as humans, all of that knowledge that was on the internet has bias, be it commercial bias or other types of bias. And then the way AIs work is because they are looking through things and trying to identify the potential hidden rules. What it interprets is those biases as hidden rules that it then puts as itself as a rule for how it's going to respond to you. So that is why AIs amplify bias. So you need to be aware of that, and you need to build in steps to mitigate that bias, basically.
Perfect. Very helpful. And let's go into number 2, which to me, this is the most interesting of the 7 points we're about to talk about, because all the other ones I feel like I was doing already. I think a lot of people feel like I was doing already. But this one, transparently disclose AI use, I think is the one not that surprised people because it's very sensible, but that has made a lot of people think about, well, what do you mean by that? And how do I do that? So what do you say to that question?
Yes, and especially because the guidance talks about documentation of like who used it and who reviewed it and which model and things like that. That even if people were saying, "Oh, I used AI," they weren't saying it with that much detail. So I think that this is a good thing. I think the ACCME argues that transparency helps to build trust, and I agree. And that this some specificity, not just I used AI, but how did I use AI and which AI did I use, also helps us be more, how do I say this, more structured and know that we'll be more careful that we are using the right tool for the right job if we have to document it. And people reading or seeing or watching what we produced can also judge the products based on that, based on what tools we use. So I think that this is a good thing, and it establishes transparency as what we expect people to do, as opposed to a good thing that if people do it, they're being good. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Exactly. If it's a universal sort of standard, it makes more sense because before this was out there, if you did this, it would kind of be like almost like you're admitting that you're doing something bad, something naughty,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you
Mm-hmm.
disclose your AI use. But now it's like, no, we know everybody's doing it. Just document how you're doing it. And it
Yes.
makes it less taboo, which is really important because we already knew, right? Everybody's using it. But
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people aren't admitting that because
Yeah.
they think that it is something that will get them in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So, number three, which you have a big star over here on the screen for folks who are just listening and not watching, is ensure human oversight, accuracy, and accountability. So, why does this one have a big star over it, Nuria?
Oh, this is because the talk that this slide comes from was a talk about the importance of human review when using AI, but also because I think that this is like the core of everything else, right? Is that people seem, and I understand, people seem to be thinking about AI as AI will do the work for me. And I keep on telling people that no, that you will do the work using AI. And so the emphasis is on you, is on the humans. How will humans use AI and make sure that the AI that and use the AI to create good products? So, like for example, we need to mitigate bias. We needed to mitigate bias before. Obviously, if I am creating a great product and I am the ultimate responsible person for the great product, I will want to mitigate bias. So if the AI is biased, I will either correct its biases or like tell it to go search for evidence that counterbalances its biases and things like that, because I am in charge. And I think that this is a key point that I can't stop repeating and overemphasize.
Nor should you stop repeating it. And you shared a great slide yesterday that goes along with this about integrating AI into your workflow.
Mhm,
Uh, as in, here's the workflow you already have.
mhm.
Which pieces can you add on with AI during your established workflow? So it's not like my new thing is that I have AI write the whole paper and then I take
Mhm.
it from there, or I write the whole paper and then I just stick it in AI at the end and have it check it. That's not it. It needs to be worked into the workflow the whole way through. And that helps with step three, right?
Yes, 100%. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So, step four, pretty straightforward, but still important to emphasize protect learner identity.
Yeah, I think 4 and 7 go together. 7 is secure databases. The idea is that if you're using, you need to make sure that you're not sharing information with the world that you shouldn't be sharing with the world. And that includes concerns with data privacy. So that's learner identity. Includes like if you're working with patient data, it would be patient identity. It can also include your own trade secrets, your intellectual property. And what this means is that people need to realize when they use an AI model, what are the privacy settings for that AI model? And
Mhm.
people need to realize that some AI models or some uses of AI models, for example, using an on the web free tool, that your data may be collected and then either distributed to other people or used for uses that you don't agree with. So the only way for you to work safely with AI is to work within safe, cyber secure spaces, and those are paid.
That's right.
So the point is you can't use free tools, or if you're using free tools, you cannot put confidential data into it. So if you want to use AI with confidential data, you need to use paid tools, is the gist.
Perfect.
Mhm.
And number 5 is limit prohibited uses. So what do we mean by this? What would be prohibited?
A prohibited use would be, for example, if you ask the AI to do something that was illegal,
Yeah.
right? That would be prohibited. So you need to design your AI workflows, especially if you are using. So the ACCME divides two ways of using AI, and one is to use AI to produce static content. So that is most of the content that we produce, like needs assessments, like slides, like monographs, etc. The other way of using is the dynamic use, and that is when companies have, for example, chatbots, AI-based chatbots that learners can interact with, or students or patients can interact with. So those are dynamic. So you need to make sure that those dynamic AI solutions that you provide are not breaking the law. Is
Mm.
basically it, and are not doing something, either breaking the law or breaking the ACCME guidance for accreditation.
Okay, perfect. And last but not least here, since we already covered number 7, number 6, really important, something you've been talking about for a long time, but not everybody is doing, kind of like the transparent disclosure. But if you're
Mhm.
going to have transparent disclosure, number 6 goes along with it, and that's establishing internal governance.
Yeah.
So, can you tell us how people can do that, whether you're a large company or a one person company? What does that mean?
All right. So internal governance is basically the rules and principles that you follow when using AI. So it governs all of the other points, basically. And the idea is that you need to think about task by task. What are you need to think about in advance? I want to use AI for task A. What are the risks and how can I use it safely, and establish the rules so that you know, for example, if you're using public tools only and free tools only, I will not upload learner data into the tool because I'm only using free public tools. All right.
Mhm.
That is a rule. And you establish these rules. So you think about, you go task by task, you go activity by activity, and you think about what are the risks, what are the laws, the guidance, the rules, and you think about, okay, so how can I establish rules that govern how I will use this in a way that I am not that I'm following all the laws. That's basically it. Sounds very simple. I understand it's not, but if you go step by step, task by task, you'll start also seeing that you have some general principles, and then you can those principles can maybe cover some tasks. So like the first few ones might be really hard to do, but then as you go along it might become easier. That's the hope.
Yeah, and I think if you're sitting there and you're saying, "Well, I'm just a freelance writer. I'm not going to have internal governance." I disagree, and I think it's a good idea to have some sort of written policy on how you use AI. So when your clients ask you, you can say, "This is how I use AI." Or maybe you tell them up front even if they don't ask. And you just have that established, and that's part of transparently disclosing the use and just putting everything out there so that we're all on the same page rather than what has been the status quo up until now, which is like, I'm just going to use this in secret and hope nobody realizes and hope for the best. So we're moving in that direction of acceptance. Everybody's using it. We have to just document how we use it safely, right?
Yeah, and yeah, I think you've nailed it. You've summarized it perfectly, and this is a good place to end the episode. What do you think?
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for talking to us about each of these points. And again, if you want to learn more, check out the webinar on the Alliance. The recording should be available.
Yeah.
Thanks, Nuria.
Thank you, Morgan.